Hi, I'm Dr. Patti Farris. I'm a board-certified dermatologist, and I'm your host for this episode of Skincare Confidential. We're still basking in the glory of the 2024 Science of Skincare Summit, which was amazing. It was our best turnout, and I think our best scientific program ever. We're excited to announce that 2025 is now open for registration. That meeting will be held again in Austin, Texas, backed by popular demand. And we're going to be at the Fairmont Hotel, September the 5th through the 7th. And we look forward to seeing you guys there, all of you skincare aficionados and people interested in learning more about skincare. So I'm really excited about this episode of Skincare Confidential because I've got a fellow Louisianan that I'm going to interview. You don't know this, Keith, but I call you the Louisiana cowboy.
Okay.
So we're going to be talking to Keith O'Brien, who is the CEO and the founder of Hydrinity Skincare. And I'm going to read Keith's bio because he's got an interesting background. He earned his marketing and management degree from the University of Louisiana and completed postgraduate training at both Harvard Business School and the Kellogg School of Management. He's a seasoned professional. You don't look old enough to have 30 years of effective leadership, but I'm going to give you that.
In skincare.
In skincare, exactly. He's got 30 years of effective leadership experience in the life science industry. He's been on the executive leadership team that touched and built 2 startup organizations that produced exits in excess of $750 million. Not too shabby. Prior to starting Hydrinity, he served as CEO for Restorative Life Sciences. He spent over 20 years with Pfizer, Shire, and has served in numerous leadership roles. So welcome to Science of Skincare Summit and the Skincare Confidential podcast. We also want to thank you for being a supporter of the summit for the last 2 years. Super exciting.
No, I love this. The summit was our very first show to do.
Oh my gosh.
Very, very,
Well,
very.
I think I twisted your arm pretty good the day I met you. I'm like, Keith, you got to be there. And I think it was a good show for you as well, wasn't it?
It was a great show. And who can say no to you, Patty?
You're so sweet. So one of the reasons that this interview actually happened was because Keith came down off the podium. He did a product theater at the Science of Skincare Summit. And I thought to myself, for a CEO to get up on a podium and give that scientific presentation, I said, that was a lot of science. And you said, I'm bringing science to the Science of Skincare Summit. And I thought we got to do a podcast and do a little deeper dive into this. So that's really was my impetus for inviting you, because I was so impressed by your level of knowledge of the science behind the products that you are developing and putting into the marketplace. So let's start like at the very beginning of Hydrinity. I know you really say the company is rooted in regenerative medicine. And I remember I guess it was 2 years ago at the summit, you talking even about some personal experiences you had that led you into wound healing, which is always a lot of times an entree into that regenerative medicine space. So talk a little bit about the early genesis of the company.
Yeah. So, and again, thank you. It is an honor, and it's a privilege because I've seen the people that have been here before me, and my lineage does not stack up to theirs. So, thank you. No, Hydrinity we were born out of a regenerative medicine company. We had found a new source of hyaluronic acid, and we developed an extraction method that used no heat. And we were building 3-dimensional scaffolds for advanced wound care. And we were adding our HA into demineralized bone putty for spine surgeries. About this time, this was kind of COVID time. And then the FDA said, listen, we've decided hyaluronic acid is a drug. And so all approvals now have to have PMA approval process. And with yours being an animal based, it's going to get extra scrutiny. And so, okay, that's fine. So we're working on that. But during that time, we had a little extra time. And I thought, okay, this is a pretty high hurdle. We'll get there, but it's going to take a while. I thought, I wonder if our extraction process will work for streptococcal HA. And so lo and behold, it did. So we were able to develop a process different than anything else out there to extract the HA. And I think when you don't use heat on it, it makes the HA molecule better and stronger. It mimics what's in your normal body, long and strong, has a lot of extra surface space for peptides and antioxidants to attach to it. So we went there, and then I have a man crush on hyaluronic acid. I just think it is
Man crush.
underutilized in so many different ways. And I said, I wanted to use it as a carrier because there's some good data out there, especially in Europe, where they had some pretty good success as using it as a carrier. So I knew some guys that ran a radiation oncology clinic for head and neck um, patients,
Tumors, yeah.
and I said, listen, there's a lot of times they're vitamin K deficient. Let's see if we can get vitamin K. If we can use this as a carrier. So we developed an elixir and we put it on these patients, and we saw the vitamin K was kind of a failure. It didn't work, and we didn't do it long enough to really develop. But Patty, what we saw is these people had the most beautiful skin of anybody that I had ever seen. And you know, from experience, that head and neck radiation patients, they get
Mm.
thrush and their skin sloughs off. Patty, these people had beautiful skin. And at that point, it almost became a moral obligation. It's okay. We got to figure out a way. How do we get this to more people? So from that day forward, we started developing our products, got into clinical trials, and just did this the right way. Separated the two companies; they're totally separate companies.
So you have
And
a wound, sort of a
yeah,
regenerative
and
medicine wound
that's still yeah, and that company's
still
still
exists.
going through the FDA approval process and developing. It uses a different source of HA,
Of
so there's
HA.
yeah. Um, but it was just amazing how quickly and how efficacious just the HA in itself before
It's
we even started
unbelievable.
adding stuff to it. And at that point, I got real excited, and I said, okay, we this is something pretty special. First real advancement in hyaluronic acid probably in 25 years, and I said, okay, let's figure out how we get this to more people.
I
And
think the take home
that's
message of that is it's not a Me Too hyaluronic acid product.
it.
It's really an innovative HA, and it's
It is.
probably the reason you've had the success you've had
Yes,
with it.
absolutely.
Talk a little bit. I know you've got in your products, you've got multiple weights of HA and probably enhanced concentrations that.
Mhm.
So talk a little bit about those
Yeah,
differences as well.
and again, everything we do at Hydrinity, we try to be very intentional about what we do. And I know it's a funny story. Size matters, but size does matter, especially when you're talking about HA and molecular weight. So we use dual molecular weight. We use that high molecular weight for barrier control, to help fight off the free radicals. But the low molecular weight is our delivery system.
Right.
And what happens there is it takes the peptides and the antioxidants to where it needs to be. Um, and we're very precise. Our high molecular weight and our low molecular weight, if the variance is off more than 1%, then I discard it. That's how particular. We triple filter it. So not only is it the purest, but it's also the most precise in molecular weight. We use
Mm-hmm.
100% injectable grade HA in all of our products. And so it's the only product that uses 100% injectable for a topical. And I think that matters. I think better ingredients give you better products, give you better results. And where we stopped, and at our high molecular weight, how many times have you tried as a physician an HA? Because there are a lot of HA products, but they're tacky and they're sticky.
Yeah, they get sticky. Yep.
And that's because the high molecular weight's too high. I don't want a $4 million Dalton molecular weight on my face. Now,
Right.
stick it in my knee. I want it like maple syrup, but not on my face.
Right.
And so we know exactly where to stop, so you don't get that tacky, sticky feeling. The low molecular weight, you can't go too low, because if you go too
Gets
low, you cause
inflammatory.
inflammation and a
Right.
cytokine storm. So we
Right.
stopped before you got that, and we were super intentional about what our high and what our low was.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you're right, it's concentrated. We have twice the amount of HA as any other product. That's our filler. You see a lot of these products, and there are great products out there, but there are some that just have fillers
Mm-hmm.
just to take up space. Our HA is kind of our filler. I mean, we have twice the HA of any other product out there, um, and I think that helps us in so many ways.
So you mentioned the peptides. Talk about that. You have a peptide complex that I know is the backbone of some of your products.
I do. We call it our polypeptide matrix. And so what we did is we have 6+ peptides and antioxidants that we put together. I noticed a lot of people when we did this, because we're new to the skincare. Now, not new to medicine, and advanced
Right.
skincare and skin health it's not that different. It's really not. You want rapid, expeditious healing. And so that's what we go for. But I noticed a lot of people, when they formulated things, they were just adding things. It didn't make sense to me that they were together. I like to group things together. And so that's what we did is with our peptides. I put peptides in two categories. They're either signaling or enzyme inhibiting. And so what we did is we made sure we put both our hexapeptide leaf extract. It's like a retinol, and it stimulates collagen for production. But the trifluoroacidyl tripeptide 2, let's just call it TT2 because I don't know if I can say
Okay.
that again. It inhibits progerin synthesis. And so when you model that, and then when you add the antioxidants to it, that's our core for our renewing and restoring. Plus, we add some other ingredients to that. The other thing is we balance those between negative and positive charged ingredients and molecules, because it matters the order that you put them in. RHA has a super high negative charge. So when we make these, we make them in small batches. We never put, unless it's intentional, two negatives at the same time, because when you do, they don't bind with each other.
Hmm.
They float around.
Hmm.
So if you put a positive and a negative, then they'll bind to each other, and that helps you with your delivery system. So there's a lot of different things that, again, we do intentional, and I think other people do also. I've just had the ability to learn from a lot of people, and their success we copied, and where they messed up, we didn't
You
do
did
that.
something else. Yeah, makes
Yeah,
total sense.
and I
So,
just I just think if you put the right combination of together, and this is
of
some patented
course.
technology, because they had never been put together. They had been done individually, but never together. And that's what we tried to do. It's like, man, these are really good stuff. Let's put these together, and this will accelerate our HA. And so that's how we got started with our polypeptide matrix.
So you talked about two of what I would say are the hero products, the restorative serum and the renewing serum.
Yes.
So kind of explain the differences in terms of how a clinician might approach those and use those in their
Yeah.
practice.
It's And that's a great question. And we get that a lot. I thought we were being, you look back and say, well, I might would have done this different. So we named them Restore and Renew. So our restorative serum, it's, we call it, it's our healing hydrator. Where
Hmm.
it works really the best is post procedure. I mean, you can be as ablative as you want. You put this on right away.
Right
But
after.
really, it's compromised skin, acne, eczema, psoriasis. I have some of the best before and after pictures of acne patients that use this part of their regimen, and it really helps. But the post procedure is where this really shines, and it is because all of our products, every Hydrinity product is pH balanced. They're all anti-inflammatory, and I think that's super important, because when you do a procedure, Patty, nobody complains about the price of a procedure anymore. All they do is talk about how bad it hurts and they're
Yeah.
down.
The downtime. Oh, yeah.
And so when we developed this, we were very intentional. We put a bunch of anti-inflammatories. So you have hemostasis is the first, then you have inflammation and then cell proliferation. You don't heal until you start to get the proliferation and remodeling. Inflammation is good, but you can't linger there. And so what Hydrinity products
No.
do, they take away that inflammation and get you to the healing process. And I will say, even in our clinical studies, what we show on day 2, you can see clinically significant difference in how people are healing. And I'm in clinics every day. I talk to people before and after. You could, when you put this on the next day, there are some people, microneedling, you can't hardly even tell somebody had it. And it's just, it's a true, that's one of the reasons the industry's embraced us, is because our products do the things that they say they're going to do.
Right. Well,
And
and
it
you've
really,
studied them
yes.
also,
And I believe in that. It's,
of
we
course.
always say, in God I trust, everybody else show me the data. And And we knew that we were a new company coming out, so we knew we had to have the data, and so we did it. So so that's restorative. So renewing is it's a daily hydrator, and we did a study of that. We did 71 patients. We did for this industry.
Right.
That's a big study.
That's a nice study. Yeah,
And so what
absolutely.
we showed is that in 2 weeks, 81% of participants had smoother skin, 75% had brighter skin. What this does, it kind of lifts, tightens, and plumps. It helps get rid of those senescent cells. So when the renewing, it's your daily hydrator. Use it every day, especially if you have that dull skin. That dull skin is just senescent cells sitting there. We need to stimulate fibroblasts, keratinocytes, collagen, and elastin to blow those cells off your skin. And that's where renewing is. It's a great everyday. I don't like the word anti-aging because
Yeah, but
you're going to age
it's
with,
more your daily
but it
use
is your daily.
product that with all of your technology in it. It's the daily use
Absolutely, yes.
product.
And the other thing is with these two products, when we came out, and we knew we only had a few products. So we worked real hard on form, fit, and function so that they could be used with other lines. Because even a couple of years ago, big protocols when people were using 8 and 10 and 12 regimens,
Ugh,
which I don't
too
believe
much.
in, but
Yeah.
that's probably for another podcast.
Yeah.
So what we did is, but we made these where they could fit in. And so, because I believe in skinamizing, and that's every Hydrinity product does multiple things too. They don't just do one. Like our eye
Right.
product gets rid of fine lines and wrinkles, puffiness, and dark circles. All our products do more than one thing, and so this made this easy for us to get established.
I know your eye cream is popular. It's very popular. And so how are you addressing you obviously have multi ingredients. It's a
Yeah,
multitasking product, so it can affect all those issues that we see in the periorbital area.
yeah. And so, Patty, it was one of this, and again, that's where we had an advantage. We're not handicapped to the norms of the industry. And what I started noticing, so I tell everybody all the time, we're driven by innovation, but we're guided by our partners. And everybody would go, and when I would go in and speak to people and meet people, they said, you got to have an eye product. We love your stuff.
Hmm.
You guys would have a great eye product because they were using it anyway.
Yeah,
And
of
I said, well,
course.
no, I hadn't studied it there. And so I said, well, okay, well, so then I said, what are the three things we need to do? Fine lines and wrinkles, puffiness, and dark circles. And I said, okay, we'll
Absolutely.
make one. And somebody said, well, no, you need two or three.
Oh,
And I said, no, 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 we can do it. And we did. So again, you just take the ingredients and you play with them. And Patty, sometimes I have this book and you'll go through and we'll do different things in different percentages or so. And you just have to work with it until you
of
get it,
course.
you
You have
get
to
it the right way.
tweak your
Yeah.
formulas.
Tweak your
You have to
formula.
tweak your
And
formulas till
yeah,
they start singing. You've got some other interesting things that I find really unusual for what I would call a luxury skincare line, which is
yeah,
really what you are. And
yeah,
that is that you have a product that has hypochlorous acid in it. That's your hyacinth product. Talk about that, like kind of random
yeah.
in the spectrum of everything we're talking about. Well, what took you there?
It is. I fell in love with hypochlorous acid in a previous life when we were hanging out in burn centers and wound care centers.
Yeah, it's a wonderful ingredient.
It's a really good antibacterial,
Hmm.
antiseptic product. The other thing is you can spray it in your mouth and your eye. And
Yeah.
so a lot of plastic surgeons periorbital when they do surgeries, they would use that. The other thing is there's over a hundred published articles, about the safety and how well it works. It's a
Yes.
potent anti-inflammatory agent, and again, that's a huge driver for me. I won't. I Inflammation is bad in everything we do. It's bad in your gut. It's bad in your skin. It's bad in your joints. And so when I saw this, I thought this would be. I don't know why. Well, I do know why people didn't use it in skincare. It's because it wasn't stable. That's the thing about hypochlorous acid. Light,
Difficult to formulate.
and it's different to formulate. We were able to do it in an FDA approved facility. Our bottles are triple walled, so you get no light, and our pumps are airless. So it's stable for 2 years. The other thing is what we did is we made it luxury because we micronized the mist. You'll see a lot of hyperchlorous acids. They pour it or you spray it and it hits you and
Yeah.
it just runs down your face.
Yeah.
Well, it's a micronized mist and we micronized it so it gets in the pores and it cleans them out. It makes every product better after that. And the other thing I wanted to use it for is when we came out with kits, our post-procedure kit. So you can use the highest in pre, peri, and post-procedure. That way you don't have to use the alcohol to prep the skin. It dries it
Right.
out. That's the last thing you want to do when you have procedures, dry your skin out. Um, I just I thought it fit great in skincare.
Yeah. Well, it
And you're
certainly
right.
does
We
in the
are a
pre and post
luxury.
procedure.
Yeah. And we are a luxury brand, but I tell people all the time, no, we're where science meets luxury. You have some brands that are total luxury and you have some that are total science. I like to think we fit in the crossroad
You,
pretty well.
you certainly have developed a lot of products
Yeah.
that fit that niche. Talk about Vivid Brightening, because that's another one. I mean, it's an interesting product, and you went right after skin lightening and brightening, which is a huge issue.
It is,
Huge.
you're not supposed to have a favorite child, but this may
It's your
be mine.
favorite.
It could be just because you're right. We went at it a different way. We said no to hydroquinone. Hydroquinone is a great ingredient, and it does
Sure is.
exactly what it's supposed to do on
It's
the
not
good
it's not a
side.
very popular ingredient anymore. People
But
don't
it's
like to
not.
use it, but boy, it's almost irreplaceable in the
It
derm's hands, I can tell you.
absolutely no. It is. The problem is you only have a small percent of the population that really at the efficacy level. Not a lot of people just can't. They can't tolerate it,
Yeah.
and
Or
so
they don't
that
want to use it.
yes, and you can't use it long term for sure.
No.
So we looked at it and we said, okay, pigmentation is difficult. So I said, let's attack it at multiple layers, not only on the treatment part, but let's see if we can prevent pigmentation from occurring. And so, and how do we keep the skin hydrated? So what we did, Patty, is we took our renewing serum because it has some HA, it has Kakadu plum in there, which is a great bright. It's our vitamin. It's the vitamin C
You
that
see?
we love
Hmm.
the most, just because of how potent it is, and but you don't get the vitamin C side effects. And so we said, let's treat it, let's prevent it. And so we started putting ingredients. So we took our Renew as our base, and then we added 14 active ingredients to it.
Holy
And I
moly.
was
It's a
no,
lot.
it is power packed with that. But I think that's the reason that it works so good. Um, it's got this cool ingredient, and I love sourcing ingredients from all over.
I wanted to ask you that question because I know you do. You mentioned the what is it, Kakadu plum?
Kakadu plum, and it's only grown on the northern shore of Australia. They have the highest UV index of anywhere in the world. So that
So that plum is
plum,
full of antioxidants to protect
yes,
itself.
yes, absolutely, it
Of
survived.
course,
It survived.
survived because of it.
Yes,
Interesting.
in only the area it grows in, there's an indigenous tribe there, and that's how they make their money now. Is so they protect that. But it's 100 times more potent than what an orange is. And so I love using it because you can use a little bit of it without the flare that you get with some vitamin C's.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's one. And then we added oligopeptide, 68 is one of
Right,
my favorite. It inhibits the MITF gene. And
right.
so if
It's
you can
also
inhibit
brightening
that, you don't
peptide.
do that. The other thing is, and you'll appreciate this, being from Louisiana and here in the South where it's so hot, is everybody thinks pigmentation is a sun issue. It's a heat issue also.
Well, it's heat too, sure.
And so you get places like our friend Dr. Chili Curry. I was talking to him the other day, and he said last summer they had 72 days in a row it was over 100 degrees. They're in Houston,
Yeah,
and
I
so
know it's hot.
we added the agache mexicana flower in there, and because it reduces your skin temperature by 1 degree Celsius, and so not only do we treat it, we try to prevent it, and they're and this is really good because sometimes people will go with pigmentation, they'll get their lasers or the chemical peels, and what we have found is not only can you use this to treatment for reds and browns, but it also prevents the breakthroughs when they need therapy and treatment. This is a
Right.
good thing to add to that to extend the time between treatments that they have to do.
I'm sure
Um,
you've got anti-inflammatories in there as well.
Absolutely, yes, we do.
Galore.
We do a
That's
lot.
another piece of that puzzle.
it is absolutely a piece of that puzzle. Um, and so it's just, I love that product because I think it does. So not only that, it smooths your skin out. So even if you don't, we all have some pigment issue,
Of
but what
course.
we've done is if you feel this product, it's just velvet and it just layers in with any other thing that you use. I tell everybody this should be the one product that no matter what other thing you're using, this was good because it hydrates your skin, it helps your pigmentation, it smooths it out, takes the redness away. It's a great, and you can use it. There's not many pigment products you can use twice a day. You can actually use this one twice a day. So
Nice.
it's
Nice, nice, nice. Um, Another thing I think interesting about the company is the expansion you've had in such a short period of time. So, well, you were kind of a new kid on the block when we met 2 years ago. What year did you start Hydrinity?
a 22 September of 22. So we're just
20,
barely 2 years old. Yes.
oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. And you've gone international this year.
Yeah, we have. We're in 22. We're approved in 22 countries already, and our goal next year is to double that. So we should be 45 by this time next year. So
International expansion is not for the faint at heart. I mean,
no, no,
because
no,
you got
it's
to
not.
set up all this distribution, and I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's what, Patty, we've been blessed. The medical aesthetics community is real. They've embraced us.
Yeah.
Um, and I think we've been very intentional, and I think we've done things for the most part the right way. We started out with clinical trials. The other thing is we kept it simple, and I think our timing was right. We launched with the mantra: 2 pumps twice a day. Give us two
I
minutes,
love
and
it.
we'll give you 2 minutes. Give us 2 minutes, and we'll give you results in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's
Um,
amazing. That's very
and
kitschy.
and it's and it is catchy. It's the sales and marketing mantra, but it's also scientifically proven, and that's people are patient now. I read an article the other day. It says the Rosacea Society that 78% of the patients started on a treatment protocol for rosacea stop within 30 days.
Hmm, I'm
And
not
rosacea
surprised.
is, if, if,
It's a
if you
tough,
seek
really tough
treatment, it's
condition.
it's a tough condition. And so if they stop theirs, then we need to deliver results really quick. And I think that's one of the reasons that the community has embraced us is just because we do give good results. And
Well, I also think you have the advantage of you're able to deliver the results, and there really is little downside because of the ingredients that are in the
absolutely,
formulations.
yeah.
So,
'Cause-
we've talked about it recently. Like, are the retinoids sort of going to be passe? Because we know they work, but they do have significant downsides. Some of them, not
mhm.
all. There's a lot of friendly ones, but we're now seeing coming into the marketplace things like this that really can heal, keep the barrier intact, and fortify the barrier. I love using it, HA as a carrier molecule. I mean, that's very innovative and interesting as well. So, you can use things like this without the downside of some other ingredients. And that's why I think one of the reasons you're finding so much success
Yeah.
in the physician's office.
Yes.
Because the last thing we want to do is put something on somebody post procedure that's going to give them a problem. And
Yeah.
believe me, they do that themselves. They go
They,
home and put
they,
something on
they absolutely do. Yes.
invariably.
Yes. Yes, they do. Yes. So,
Invariably, if the patient comes back from a laser procedure and they have a problem and you're looking at them, you got to say, what did you put on this? Because more than likely they put something on that messed
they,
it up.
they did something, they pulled out some Vaseline
Yeah,
or they did something
whatever. Who
silly and just,
knows what
yes.
they do? Who
Yes.
knows what they're going to put
Absolutely.
on?
So,
They put,
no.
goodness gracious. So of course, I told you this was going to go fast, and we literally are almost done. But I
Wow.
want to hear one thing.
What's that?
What do you think is the future for Hydrinity? Where
Um,
where do you think you're going with this line? I
we,
know it's
we,
a big question, and
it is, but we do like to look forward. Um, we're going to continue to innovate, and we've got some new products that are we here in 25 and in 26 that are different that the industry hasn't seen before. And so we're going to continue to innovate. We're going to drive with science, but we're still going to have that form, fit, and function is really important to us. So things are still going to feel like Hydrinity products, but we're going to do some things that haven't been done before in the industry as far as products, some combination of what we're going to do. And what I tell the team all the time, let's just be the best at everything we do. Don't worry about let's be the best formulators. Let's be the best partners. Let's do the best products. Everything else kind of takes care of itself.
Absolutely.
And
If you're
so,
doing the right things, then you're going to be successful. And
yeah,
that's why I think in the short 2 years you've been in the marketplace, you've had so much success because you're doing it very thoughtfully and you're doing it with science. You're leading with science and then you're testing your products.
yeah.
And this is what the dermatology community and the medical community needs to see. I'll give you a task before we
Okay, great.
close. Could you look at your products for crepey skin? Because I'll bet you anything they're going to perform very, very well in that intrinsically aged crepey skin
They
with the
do.
peptides. And they have to, and all this
Yeah,
HA.
I will tell you because we launched a mask this year, and
Right.
it's a facial mask, and it's so beautiful. It's got hydrolyzed HA in it. It's post procedure, but it's
Nice.
also a good Friday night date too. It's lovely.
Nice.
Um, and what we did is we overfilled by 20%. So at the bottom of it, there's some serum, and I've got more compliments for neck and
Using on the
décolleté. That's
neck.
that's
Yeah.
how that's how they use it because I didn't want to do a face and a neck because those they get wieldy. And so what we did is we just said we'll take the physical part for the face and we'll use the
You can
liquid
use the
part for that.
residual. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Those
crepey,
areas.
yeah, and crepey skin. I'm glad you said that because there may be something on the way for that. And
I'm
and,
sure I'm sure
and,
there
and you didn't
is.
and you didn't
I
know
don't
and you
even
didn't know
think I
this.
could get ahead of you.
No. So
That was
there may
a
be
personal
something coming.
request since I have
Okay.
so much crepey skin. Just work on that for me, Keith. We're going to wrap this. This has been more fun. I knew it would be. The Louisiana
Thank you.
Cowboy never disappoints. Thank you so much for supporting our meeting. We hope you'll be back next year. And good luck with all your venture. And thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Skincare Confidential.